Welcome back. This is Still the Press, and we're reaching you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. We've now been joined by our guest, engineer TOBA OWOJAIYE, who's a public affairs analyst, to help us analyze on some of the headlines we've read out to you. You're welcome to the studio.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Looking good.
Thank you, and Baraka de Salah to you and to all our Muslim faithfuls out there.
Thank you.
Our viewers, be reminded that our phone lines are now open for you to call in and join the conversation, and also tell us how Eid al-Fitr is going at your location. All right, so this morning there's been a story that's been heating up since Monday and all of that, but which is the impeachment of the Edo State Deputy Governor. Should we call him X now, because there's another person already on the seat? So on the front page of the Punch, it says, impeachment, Shaibu writes CJN APC members warn against ex-deputy governor's return. There's speculation of him returning to APC, and there are other conversations of he wants to, he wrote to the CJN stating that the judgment on him is totally wrong and all of that. I want you to help us make sense of what's happening in Edo State and that impeachment. It sounds like it may seem as though there are other undertones to that move. Let's get your opinion on it. Yeah,
surely there are undertones. He's someone who has been the most vocal and visible deputy governor in Nigeria. So the governor has given him a lot of leeway all the while. In events, in budgets, in everything. So he was big, and what he failed to understand politically was that he's from the same ward, same local government as Oshomole.
Yes.
Yes. So they have ruled for...
They had a relationship.
Yes, they have ruled. His local government has ruled for 8 years before. Edo South has ruled for 16 years. Obaseki 8, Igbenedion 8. So they had ruled for 16 years and 8 years, while a senatorial district had not ruled at all. That's Edo Central. So when they were going for their campaign to be won in, after they were kicked out of APC, both of them promised the 5 local governments in Edo Central that if they support them, they would pick the next governor from there.
Okay. So
he's now like, oh, that agreement can't stand. I have a right to contest. So they allowed him contest. And on the day of contesting, he has the biggest billboards in the state. He bought forms. He bought he was not stopped in any way. On the day of the primaries, he now decided to conduct another parallel primaries in his parlor. So I think it's, in pidgin English, it's a see finish of the governor who has given him a large leeway. I don't know if the charges against him can stand, but he made a mistake by not showing up in court. He dodged them giving him the letter. He had to now be served by a substituted means, and then when the day came, he didn't show up in court. So if you don't show up in court, how can justice be played in your favor? So he bungled this up. He was actually even told to wait and contest for Edo North senatorial ticket in 2027, and then maybe after that he should come back to contest for governor. So I think he threw this off on his own, and he overestimated his relevance. You are never bigger than the system that made you. Never.
You're never bigger than the system that made you. Now, there are also conversations that, he has interest in becoming the next governor of Edo State. There are conversations that he must have been, kicked out at this time because they believe the power of the incumbent. So do you see any relationship with that?
Yeah, of course. This is politics. The 2 candidates from the state, the PDP candidate, he'll be 65 in July, and his deputy is about 62. So they are a bit elderly, and it's a state that is now having a lot of strong Labour Party youths. So they went to the same senatorial district that he is from, but not his own local government, and picked a House of Rep candidate from Labour Party that did very well. People believed the guy even won. The guy is 38 years old, but that he was told to chill off and not contest it in court. So when you have a chance to either work with a deputy that is grumbling, or you bring up a younger deputy that is willing to use the next 5 months to show his onions, to show his what. So would you choose to stick with a grumbling person who will work against you for the next 6 months or 7 months, or a young person who is hungry to prove himself? So I think it was the right choice by him.
So what about his return, the speculated return to the APC? What do you make of that?
He's welcome to go to the APC. He has never been bigger than...
Will an Adams Oshiomhole welcome him like you're welcome back?
He can welcome him, but he's not bigger than the man. And you see...
they don't have a smooth relationship.
Politicians don't have frictions. They just have a temporal drama.
But it's looking like, well, you get what you deserve, sort of.
Yeah, but what is he going to bring to APC from a place that Oshiomhole always wins? You know,
there was a particular conversation one time from Adams Oshiomhole that APC is not supposed to be some sort of a dumping ground for some failed politicians.
Yeah, sure.
Yes. So now, this coming up and this return, what do you think would be? Yesterday,
there was even a protest saying he should not come to the party. All of that can be a drama from somebody.
Yeah, of course.
But if Oshiomhole doesn't want him, Oshiomhole doesn't want him. He'll have to either go to Labour Party and work along with them, or just be grumbling wherever he is.
Saying if Oshiomhole doesn't want him, Oshiomhole doesn't want him, does it mean that Oshiomhole has the power to say, do not come to APC, and he wouldn't come?
Let me try to explain the greatness of Oshiomhole in Edo State.
Please oblige us.
He is, for me, the best performing grassroots governor. The projects he did in his own place, Edo Senatorial Zone, has not been matched by anybody. He worked in all the local governments of the state, but what he did in his own senatorial zone is unrivaled. So within his senatorial zone, he has the knife and the yam, and he determines what happens. And I don't see the party going against him. He backed Denko, and the party had to beg Denko to be deputy. He is that strong. So if he says, I don't want you, and not like the party really needs him, the party will go against him. He's the senator. He's the only senator they have in the state. So why do you go against who you have? For someone who left you and insulted you for years, and then he's now stuck in the rain, and he now comes back that he wants to come back home. Does he want to come back home?
They say someone who betrayed him at some point.
Yes.
Anyways, let's talk about Omobayo. Godwin Omobayo, the new deputy governor. What do you think of him? Do you think he has the capacity to, float through that steed?
Yeah, you see, Labour Party is now strong in Edo State. Let me tell you,
but he says he's not a member of PDP.
Yes, but the youths are a strong catchment. All the other parties have all gone for slightly older candidates. When you bring in a younger person who is deputy, it makes the youth see like, okay, the next government may give more positions to youth. The youth in Edo don't like to be told what to do. This is them. That's why even the PDP candidate had to run away from the godfather tag. Because once you have a godfather in Edo State, you are gone politically. The people will vote against you just for that. So you pick a young man who doesn't have a godfather. He's a young person. Within his area, Akoko Edo, he will be able to deliver votes in that. Once he delivers that, you pick votes from the other area. So it's all in mathematics. You have to calculate, why do you keep this disgruntled deputy, or will you go for a young person who is hungry to succeed? It's just a clear choice.
It's becoming obvious that September is going to really be interesting in Edo State, and the dynamics are going to be very interesting.
Yes,
maybe not so predictable as we may have been looking at it to be. All right, let's go to Labour Party to see what's happening there. Now there are conversations about seems like you already know what I'm going to talk about. Now there are conversations of Abure's-led faction and then the Labour Party movement as well. There are clashes here and there, and they're trying to say that these we are not in support of this Abure's faction. We don't know about it. The National Working Committee is not supposed to stand here and there. What's this ruckel that is happening in the party?
You see, I have always said, I've said here 3 times before, that I don't like the way NLC is becoming a political arm. In most of the demonstrations I said here, when they had that issue in Imo State, 5 days to the Imo election, then the national president of NLC decided to single-handedly go for a demonstration in a state that had a political undertone. Now that same thing has come to play in his party. This is a political party. As much as it's affiliated to you, it is a political party. It is a stand on its own. If they played by the rules, if INEC was present, if all due diligence was done, then you have to stand by this decision they came to. You can't just leave them. You do anything you want. It's not done. Then I also blame them. Abure has issues. If you want him to stand aside, it's a way to do it. Get the whole executives to back it that he stands aside. But if you allowed him hold a convention and the convention became successful, then you blame yourself. Let him stay. You know, before now, it was
people from APC that are trying to scatter us, people from here are trying to scatter us. But there are also conversations that the presidential candidate of the Labour Party was also trying to intervene in this matter. But it looks like it's an impossible case.
No, he's running from intervening, because you see, if he joins to try to kick Abure out and it doesn't succeed, what now happens?
There's something about Labour Party that I do not understand. First of all, a chairman came. We had like how many people claiming to be chairman of the party with letters to their names and stamps here and there. Look at this. I am the original this. I am this. I am that. I am that. And there are also conversations that this person was just an ordinary secretary, an ordinary general secretary, and now he's claiming to be the chairman of the party, the national chairman of the party. There's also the Olamide Apapa drama that was coming up initially. Now, it's looking as if, you know, when Labour Party was coming up, when Labour Party came up, when this guy ran under that party as at during the elections 2023, there was a focus that Nigerians had on that party. The youth were interested and everybody felt like this party is the game changer. But now it's looking as if they've lost focus. Like they're becoming power drunk. They're becoming, should I say, famous drunk, because I don't know how best to put it, because a party that will just come out from nowhere and become something, come out in that kind of third place and that kind of full force, we want to believe that is now known, is now a known movement. But looking as if this known entity tag on them is now making them lose focus and lose line of what they are supposed to be doing.
This is what we expected. You see, when overnight you become a celebrity, then that's when you know the amount of baggage you had on you all along. Right now, I can assure you that no poor man will be able to pick a Labour Party gubernatorial ticket in the South and in the Middle Belt, because people have now seen that, oh, the people largely believe in this party. They say tag, the party is good. They say tag, the party is honest. So whether I'm honest or not, I'm going to go for that ticket to stand a chance. Remember that Labour Party was virtually nothing till Obi moved there.
Yes, exactly.
So if Obi moves away from there, Labour Party will go back to zero. They'll go back to less than that. So they have to watch it. And he too has to watch it. But the problem with Obi right now is that if you leave Labour Party, where are you going to go? Except you form a new party all by itself. And his supporters are blind supporters. They love him, they trust him, they are following him. So if he leaves now, they'll follow him. And he has 3 years. If he leaves now, they'll follow him to wherever he's going. Labour Party will be on his own. So they need to watch it. Abure needs to watch it. If I was the one, I would allow for transparent look into any financial issue, not suspension that they did for the lady that complained. That's like trying to gag her mouth. Okay, you have won now. Say, okay, I have won. There's no pressing need in the party now. I open it up for a 1 month investigation, but I'm the chairman. But I step aside for 1 month and give it a duration for 1 month for there to be some checks into everything. And if it pans out, I'm coming back. So that's what I expect of them. But this drama is good. They have to learn what political parties are.
You know, they always say that change begins with you. If you promise a change, you have to show that you can actually bring that change to the table. So talking about this transparency matter, with this kind of situation, do you see them being able to, you know, take over power in 2027?
I see them winning more states. I see them winning more senatorial positions, but the presidency is not available, in my opinion, 2027. If you couldn't beat a Tinubu when his party was fighting him, when he was an outsider, I don't see you beating him when he's on that seat. So, and then if Tinubu finishes and does another 4 years, power will surely go back to the north. You can write it down. So that would be all for Obi's career. If I was Obi, I would start raising 4 strong young men who are in their 30s now, make them SAs or commissioners in different states that we hold reign, and watch them grow for. This is 12 years, this is 15 years we're talking about. Obi is about 63 now. 15, 16 years from now, he'll be 70. This is not known. We will not have a Nigeria that want to vote old men in 16 years' time. I can assure you that. From what we've seen in Mali and the new uprising we're seeing, I don't see an old man being president in 17 years' time. All
right. So there's this. I want to find out the right NLC has as against on the Labour Party, because now I'm saying you lack power to sack Abure's NWC. That's coming from Labour Party. They are telling NLC. So do you think they lack the power?
See, it's very confusing, because I can't understand how a arm of society owns a party. It's a gray area. NLC is supposed to represent labor, everybody working. Now they have a political party. Now the political party is like a subset of them.
You know, they say the political party is this political party is meant to represent Nigerians. They call it Mama Papa Pikin Party.
Yes. But in my opinion, it's even wrong in the first place. Okay. I don't see why our constitution should allow NLC have a party.
Why shouldn't they?
NLC is supposed to represent all of us.
So why shouldn't, are we not supposed to be part of political parties and rule
let only Labour Party exist as a party, then let's contest within Labour Party. Are you understanding what I'm saying? NLC represents all of us, should have all of us interests. Once they exist as NLC and as a political party, it's a natural bias.
Okay.
So now it's even a struggle between who is commanding who. This one is saying I'm a political party. This one is saying you're our child, so we can still tell you what to do. So I think this will end in court, which I expect. I expect a complete break. I expect the court to ensure that one of them, is either they sever that cord, and one functions as a party and the other functions separately, because this is a mess. You
know, I'm just wondering and I'm thinking, if Labour Party were to be in power, would NLC still go out to protest?
You see, this is what I'm saying. These are the gray areas.
Yes.
Will they be able to command the president?
Would they be able to protest and call for things to happen?
No, okay, that's even on the negative. Now, in the positive, will they be able to command the president and say, we own the party, so we own you, so you have to do what we say you should do?
This is already looking like that's what I'm saying. Because it's not even possible right now that they are not ruling. So what happens when they are already ruling?
This is what I'm saying. So there has to be, I expect this to end in court. I pray it ends in court. I pray it drags to Supreme Court so that we can have a legal precedence. And what I expect to come out is that, one, they have to sever the cord politically. Every decision taken politically by Labour Party stands politically. Every decision taken by NLC as a Congress stands as a Congress. You can't have this mixed up thing.
All right, so let's move on to other stories on the paper this morning. On the Vanguard, it says tariff hike. I don't know if you belong to the band A, band B, C.
I'm in band C.
Are you sure you're in band C? Because I'm going to review it again.
I think
in case you're getting over 20 hours of power supply and you're mistakenly in band C, you're going to get upgraded to band A. So Get ready. But anyways, that's a conversation that has been on the radar, and Nigerians are seriously screaming. Now it says tariff hike, 20% of Band A users without prepaid meters. How do they now grade them to Band A? Now it says prepaid meters not readily available. That's according to operators, and it says fear of estimated billings haunts businesses, especially SMEs. Then okay, before we move to, because that's like a different radar to the story. So now this issue of Band A, Band B thing. Okay, they said the aim was to get those that are very comfortable to pay for the units, as the, you know, to pay for the electricity, pay good money for the electricity, as against the other categories of people. But now, I think I saw a particular faction that was protesting yesterday that called that it should be reversed, because some persons have their business, some persons that are not even very comfortable have their businesses in some of these locations, and then you come up and say that they are now Band A customers, and some also complain they don't have 20 hours of power supply. So how did you grade us into Band A? But I think I got from TCN that it's due to some technical glitches. That's the reason why they're not having 20 hours, but they ought to have 20 hours. So if they are not having 20 hours, why grade them into Band A?
Of course, most of these things don't start out smoothly. First of all, I'm not in support of this special banding and special billing of people. My political economics says every good and service should be the same, whether for the rich or for the poor. If you are giving them 20 hours of light, why are you giving them 20 hours of light? Why are they having more light than us? That's my first problem with all of this. No part of Nigeria should have more light than another area. Let's say apart from Asurok. Let's just start from that.
Somebody said this is.
There's no reason why somebody should have more stable light than someone else. That's the first problem. Yeah, you want to say something?
Yeah, so somebody said it's giving an apartheid style of.
Yes.
You know.
Why should somebody have 20 hours and I have 8 hours? Give the light equally to everyone. Take the light when you have to take it everywhere. Bring it back when you have to bring it back. Give us light. And then as you do that, we now find a way, as the energy increases, you find out, because let's say you bill a rich man. Guess who's going to pay at the end of the day? You bill a Band A man, is the Band C and Band D man that will still pay at the end of the day.
True.
Because what the Band A man will do is the one who owns businesses. He's the one who patronizes things. He's the one who owns products. So at the end of the day, he's the one who owns the factories in those places. He will just up the prices based on his new tariff, and then bill the masses back. So it's not a good idea, in my opinion. It's not.
They'll still get it back whichever way. So there's this headline that I saw on social media. I said I must take it whilst this conversation is going on. I said electricity tariff hike capable of hurting us in next election. APC members beg Tinubu to intervene and reverse electricity tariffs. Let's get your opinion on that.
Very possibly, but election is still 3 years away. Tinubu understands time, Tinubu understands government, Tinubu understands things he needs to push for now and things he will need to cushion 1 year to election. That man is not as daft as people think. So there are things you do long from election, because Nigerians forget. Let me tell you something. Nigerians in elections.
Are you sure that Nigerians still forget?
Nigerians forget. They voted Buhari the first time and they still revoted him again, and they still revoted APC again. Nigerians close to election. That's why, and that's why sometimes politicians don't do projects early.
Okay.
Why? They believe Nigerians forget. So if you do projects 3 years from your election, and your opponent does projects 4 months to the elections, Nigerians will remember the projects your competition did. So most times they try to delay their good till very late, which is very bad in the first place. We shouldn't have that kind of a system. So I think before then, Tinubu would surely reverse some of those things.
You know, it's so bad that they said businesses are beginning to close down. I just saw this excerpt that says, I don't see how we SMEs can cope with the current electricity tariff. I run a 19-room guest home in a Band A coverage area. Before the tariff hike, I used to spend 2.6 million naira on power, but with the increase, the bill will shoot up to 8.6 million. How do I cope with this?
Now, you see, this is where Nigerians sometimes treat me as liars. if they had not exposed them that they have been enjoying 20 hours, the same people have been shouting since that they are using diesel. Have you not heard this shout every time? We are burning diesel, we are burning fuel. You are not burning anything, you have 20 hours light. So the same people have been billing us all this while that diesel, fuel. Okay, they should take them back to 12 hours, let them use diesel and see if it's cheap. So for me, you chose the area where you are doing your business. It's an elite area, you are making your money from it. You have been making your money before now. We understand with you crying, but don't cry too loud because you are still making your more money. So it's a tough one, but in my opinion, there should not be any ban. Just scrap off this ban, give Nigerians equal light as light comes. If light increases, let it increase for all of us. If it decreases, let it decrease for all of us. That's what I expect. So
what about the electricity prices? So, and there's no subsidy. So how do they meet up?
Subsidy is tiring to me to hear. I traveled yesterday and had to shout in the car. People keep shouting. Fuel has been subsidized for too long since Abacha, and we are still crying for the same thing without fixing the refineries and fixing the things. For heaven's sake, let Nigerians go through something for 2 years and fix our problems. If electricity needs to be fixed, in Aba they are enjoying 24 hours light now. They are not crying or dying, they are paying the bill. This is where we need to go to more. If you keep subsidizing these things, no businessman can come into that terrain where it is being subsidized for somebody and not subsidized for somebody. It's not a plain field for an investor to come into. Let the bills be on a playing field. If you want, a friend of mine has 100 megawatts of power machines, and he has not brought it into this country for 8 years because during Buhari's time he didn't have the license to that, but now he has that. He's trying to bring in his machines. Let the power sector be open. Let people know this is what is the bill. This is what, can I come into this business? Should I stay out? So that investors can clearly calculate what they are doing. But if you keep subsidizing here, you remove subsidy today, you put it tomorrow, no investor wants to work in that terrain. Because
you mentioned diesel, you mentioned fuel. There's this headline that says dealers demanded 215 naira per litre diesel as Dangote marketers meet. It was 1,200. Now they're asking for 850 naira. Do you see this being possible with Dangote being a businessman?
I don't think he'll do that immediately. Remember, it was 1,700 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
It's now 1,220. I think he can still bring it down to 1,000. But he's a capitalist. He'd want to recover some money he has spent before he crashes it down. I believe that diesel will go back to 500. I believe it.
Yeah, diesel goes back to 500.
Other things I've said on this station and they come true. I believe it that diesel is the easiest in the separation process of crude.
Give us a time frame for this your vision, because December. I feel like a vision. Are you serious? Like that soon?
Yes.
You're saying in the next 6 months?
Yes. Diesel is the easiest.
I mean, 8 months.
It's the first product in your process of refining crude. So it's easier to get diesel. That's why you see somebody who is starting out prefer to go into diesel first. That's the easiest thing. Even the guys who bunker fuel, what they prefer to produce is diesel. Because that's the easiest to produce. So I expect it to drop. We own the crude in the ground. It's being refined here. If all payments are made in Naira, I don't see why it should be more than 500 at the end of the year.
Okay, so let's quickly move and talk about this minimum wage. It's a minimum wage amount we propose no longer realistic, says Labour. So they are asking to adjust it by another 300%. So you remember they had a tripartite committee meeting last month, I think about 8th of March or thereabouts, and there were speculations of about 155,000 naira as minimum wage or thereabout. So now they're saying they want to increase it by 300% because
so
of the times we live now.
That's
so
450.
Let's get your opinion.
I don't know why Labour has refused to be realistic. You're talking about the lowest pay You're not talking about the highest pay. See, whenever people say this, they forget that what you're saying is the benchmark of the lowest pay. The cleaner.
I think I should quickly get this excerpt for you. Says, recall that while the TUC had earlier demanded a uniform figure of 447,000 naira.
Yeah, that's why I said 450.
Yes, across the zones, where that was their initial request. The NLC demanded different figures. TUC, NLC, different figures. Now, for each zone of the country, with the highest being 850,000 naira. In the southwest, while the leaders of the NLC proposed 794,000 naira, those of the TUC proposed 497,000 naira. 794,000, 497,000. While in the southeast, the NLC said it preferred the minimum wage of 540,000 naira. TUC suggested 447,000 naira. However, South workers proposed 850,000 naira, with their northwest counterpart angling for 485,000 naira minimum wage. I'm wondering why they have different figures across geopolitical zones.
Yeah, of course.
And why TUC has theirs, NLC has theirs. I thought there was supposed to be one faction.
The cost of living is different in different areas. That's not even my issue. It's that the figures are not realistic. You see, when they are taking these things, they are aiming like as if they are aiming for the government. No, what you are saying is that every employer of labor must pay this. People don't understand what minimum wage is. It's not government's minimum wage. It's minimum wage. What you are saying to the person who is in Banex and a young lady is working in his shop selling phones is that he must pay her 497,000 naira per month.
That's minimum wage.
That's minimum wage.
And above.
And the cleaner who comes to clean his facility, he must pay her 497,000 per month. Who is going to pay that? I don't know where they come up with this unreal. Okay, if that's what you charge for the minimum wage, then what would you do for the person who is next in hierarchy in the office? Sorry, I'm already getting worked up. I'm sorry.
I totally understand, but something to cool off anyway.
Well, it doesn't make sense the way we see. I hate making a request that is irrational and stupid. It makes me look like I have another motive.
All right, so
left to me 100,000.
I don't want you this angry anymore. Okay, so let's talk about Super Falcons.
Thank you very much.
While we try to, wrap up. Say, Falcons played goalless with South Africa as they qualify for Olympics in 16 years, for the first time in 16 years. What do you make of that? At least happy cherry news, right?
Yes, Tinubu is working. I think we've also skipped a big news. The sports event that took place in Ghana. Nigeria won and did very well. I don't know why Nigerians are not talking about the good of Nigeria. Who is going to do that for you? Nobody. For the first time in 16 years we are winning. Let's agree that some good is taking place. Let's celebrate it. We're doing well in many areas and we will do well. Anybody wishing this country will go backward is not patriotic in any way.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I totally agree. Thank you very much for your time today. We really appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Sorry for my outburst.
No, it's okay. We're in this country together, so it's very normal to feel that way sometimes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. All right, viewers, that's all the cuttings on today's show. I hope you're still enjoying your Eid-ul-Fitr celebrations. I'll leave you to go and continue the enjoyment while I also wrap up in the studio. Thank you so much. I'll see you again tomorrow. I am Olamide Hassan. Bye for now.